The following is a mandatory tinfoil hat zone. I've been going back to the guy that shot up the Trump Hotel back in 2018 and listening to the interview he gave in the hospital before he was put in jail. And we're about to go Diddy, the rap industry, drug smuggling, but also Trump, Obama, Hillary, human trafficking, the Black Boule, everything. This shit is so wild, and it's going to take multiple videos to parse out. We're talking about this guy, Jonathan Odie. And way back in 2018, before the Cassie lawsuit, before the Lil Rod lawsuit, before they raided Diddy's home, before they arrested Diddy, he claimed that he was a Diddy sex slave and that he had sex with Cassie and Diddy multiple times. He claims he contracted herpes, he sued them, he won. He claims they're going to try to kill Trump, and he's trying to warn Trump. He claims a lot of things. And some of them are just out there. But some of them have been directly corroborated by things we've learned since. And in this first video, we're going to dig into what he calls the hip-hop agenda. But first, if you're not familiar with what happened and what this dude did to get arrested, let's watch a tape. So this is security camera footage from Trump National Hotel, Doral, Miami, Florida. And this is from back in 2018. And it's sped up, and there's a couple places where the stamp time lapses, and I won't show you the whole thing. But basically, this guy, Jonathan Odie, walks in with a gun. Somewhere he's got, it just time-lapsed, he's got a giant American flag. He drapes it all across the counter. He's pulls down the chandelier, he said. He shoots some rounds at the ceiling, and then he basically just stands there and waits for police to come. He smashes some shit for apparently no reason. Like, just committing crimes for the sake of committing crimes, apparently. And then he just stands around with a gun, and now the cops are outside, and he's, like, kind of giving up and surrendering, but maybe they're not realizing it or accepting it, so then he pulls out a gun, starts shooting at them, doesn't hit any of them as far as I'm aware. He runs out of bullets or something. Not sure what happens exactly, but at a certain point, he decides it's time to book it. And he runs. He gets shot 3 times in the leg during this exchange, slips, keeps running, runs up the stairs, and then in this upper room, he eventually is just like, fuck it. And he gives up, puts the gun down, moves some furniture, lies down on the ground, and surrenders. And he's got bullet wounds in his leg. And then he gets interviewed by Secret Service in the infirmary before he gets sent off to prison or jail or wherever. And he says some wild shit. The total interview is 33 minutes long, and I spent like 3 hours last night transcribing it all and trying to figure out his voice because he's got a super weird voice. And I've been digging through corroborating all the crazy things he says in this interview. But one of the most interesting things is about the hip-hop agenda. Before we get to that, let's do the Diddy stuff, because he made all these claims before anyone officially knew anything about Diddy. Check this out.
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself.
Yeah. I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave, okay? For them, that's what I was. That's all right? I caught herpes. And I came back and I sued him for the herpes and won. But they did Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes were his attorneys, okay? And Christopher Leon's here was my attorney. They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so.
Looking into the lawyers he just named, there's all kinds of dirt down that rabbit hole, but that's for another video. But when you watch the interview, you can tell that the investigators are like, this guy's fucking schizophrenic. What the hell is he talking about? And he like keeps on trying to like redirect him without making him feel defensive, as though they don't believe him. But now we know that what he said about Diddy was 100% on point. Like in a way that you could only know if you actually were a Diddy sex slave. Because if you don't know, Diddy liked to pay sex workers to have sex with his girlfriend, and he would watch and film and direct and jerk off, as well as a whole bunch of other super dark shit. Now, let's get into the juicy part right here, the hip-hop agenda.
Basically, what happens is the following. The hip-hop agenda is, and an agenda to move drugs all over the United States. You need to invoke the DEA. They move all the dope, on private jets, which don't get screened by
customs,
by DEA,
okay.
inside the United States. Okay, they move what's called high grade powder MDMA. They move cocaine, and they move liquid cocaine in their bottles too. Okay, so they put the liquid cocaine in the bottles and they move it. I've seen the liquid cocaine. I've drank it myself, having sex with Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks it all the time. Alright, he calls it G-Juice, but it's liquid cocaine.
Alright.
How do I know there's a conspiracy against Trump? Because it's in the Illuminati card deck. He should learn it.
Okay, we're about to go into the Illuminati card deck and all sorts of other things. That's for another video. And yes, we're going to have a disclaimer about the amount of tinfoil required for this in just a second. But first, Sigma Pi Phi, or the Black Boule, is the oldest black fraternity in the United States. And this is its symbol. And it's a real thing. And it used to be kind of a secret society, and now it's like a public fraternity all across the U.S. And that symbol looks an awful lot like LeBron's chest tattoo. For starters, Black Boule deserves a whole other video, as does LeBron James. But y'all remember Juice WRLD, who died suddenly of a heart attack during a police raid on his plane where they found 41 vacuum sealed bags of marijuana? Died of a heart attack during the raid. Kind of weird. He was 21 years old at the time. And there are many instances of people getting caught smuggling drugs on private planes. All of these guys apparently did not have the protection of the rap industry or the Black Boule or whoever. I'm serious, tons of different instances. But it gets even more interesting when you look at what rappers own private jets. We'll skip to number 2, Diddy, whose plane is renowned for its intercontinental range. But number 1 is Jay-Z, and it was a gift from Bay, meaning probably a tax write-off because they're pretty smart business people. Then you got Drake, who, aside from a Russian oligarch, Saudi Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, at least formerly before they confiscated it, whole other Vegas shooting rabbit hole, Drake's plane is one of the 5 largest private jets in the world at the time in 2023. Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, who is mentioned in this interview directly, 50 Cent, and Travis Scott. There's probably more. That's just who was in that one article. And speaking of liquid cocaine, Ciroc Vodka and De Leon Tequila are mentioned multiple times in the original lawsuit, and they had partnerships directly with Diddy. But it's hard to tell what of this guy's testimony is him knowing things from firsthand knowledge versus him self-admittedly just doing a whole bunch of internet research and piecing things together and deciding to save the world by warning Donald Trump about a plot to kill him by his cousins, all the other presidents, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. And if you're a real conspiracy nut, you might be like, yeah, dude. And if you're not, you might be like, yeah, this guy's fucking crazy. And you might fall somewhere in the middle, and that's okay. But it's pretty fun to think about. So yeah, more coming soon.